glad you could join today in our Seniors Yoga class. As you come to sit in your chair, plant your feet flat on the floor, ensuring that your heels are directly below your knees. But let there be a little bit of space between your feet, lining your feet as best you can with your hips. This will ease a little bit of pressure from the hips and knees. Your hands can rest comfortably in your lap, anywhere they feel best, letting your shoulders settle down and away from your ears. And then starting to grow the spine taller, lifting up through the sternum, the center of the chest, and also through the tops of your ears, growing longer and longer through the spine. See if you can maintain this length of the spine, but start to soften a little bit. So soften the muscles that can be softened here, while still supporting yourself to sit up tall. If it's comfortable for you, you can now close your eyes. If you'd prefer to keep your eyes open, let your eyes go soft. And start to draw your awareness towards your breathing. Start to notice how today breath is traveling in and out of your body. And it can be challenging to be aware of the breath and not affect the breath at all. But see if you can do that. See if you can watch yourself breathe, but not alter or change your breath in any way. As you become increasingly aware of the air traveling in and out, allow the exhales to bring some softness. Allow the exhales to take away any tension in the body. As you feel an increasing ease wash over you, begin now to gently direct the breath deeper down, to feel the breath come into your belly. Even feel the breath down into your hips, maybe even down into your legs. Imagining now that you could breathe in from your feet. Feeling the breath traveling from the feet now all the way up, breathing in right on up to the top of your head. And then feel that same breath travel back down, all the way down and out the feet. Again, feeling the breath traveling in from the feet, filling up the legs, the hips, the belly, the chest, the arms, the throat, the head. And then emptying out from the head downwards, all the way down and out the feet. Let's take one more breath like that. Inhaling through the feet and up. Exhaling from the crown of the head all the way down. Releasing again the effort of breathing, letting that natural breath come back in. Take a moment to wiggle your jaw, wiggle your tongue, wiggle your nose, wiggle your eyebrows. Scrunch up the eyes, scrunch up the face, scrunch up the cheeks, make everything tight, and then soften it all, let it go. Let's lift the chin now up towards the ceiling, just as high as is comfortable. So be mindful of your neck. If there's any concern there along the neck, any injury or osteoporosis, you might keep your chin level and again, grow taller through the crown of the head. If it feels okay lifting the chin towards the ceiling, open your eyes and look upwards. And then from here, draw the chin down in towards the chest, taking the gaze towards the ground. Again, inhale, lifting the chin up. And exhale, tucking the chin down and in. One more time, let's take the chin up. And then exhale, take it down and in. As the chin is tucking down towards the chest, slide your chin across towards your right shoulder. And then draw it back down into the center of the chest and over towards the left shoulder. And then back down towards the center of the chest and again to the right. And we'll do a few like this, going back and forth. Go slow, be aware and attentive to the sensations through your neck. Next time the chin comes to center, lift the chin back up to face forward so it's relatively parallel to the ground. Once again, see if you can grow your spine, lengthen the neck. Give the jaw another wiggle. Make sure you're not clenching through the jaw or the tongue. Keep this area nice and soft, and then turn your head towards your right. Bringing the head now into center, turn the head towards your left. Keeping the chin parallel to the ground. Once again, take the head towards the right, and then back into center and towards the left. And one more time, we'll go over towards the right, and then center and towards the left. Good. Bringing the face now to face forward. Bring an awareness, and it might even be helpful to kind of touch the tip of your nose, but become aware of the tip of your nose and start to move your nose in a circle. And this circle at first is going to be nice and small. So your gaze, your face is staying forward, but you're starting to move your nose in a small little circle. And you can let that circle grow. Maybe starting to circle in a bigger motion. Maybe in an even bigger motion. And then reverse it, circle the other way. I just see we have a couple more people joining class, so I'm just going to let them in here. Continue to circle in the opposite direction. Good. Welcome, everybody. And then bring your head back into center. Once again, sitting up nice and tall. Let's start to bring those circles down into the shoulders, lifting the shoulders up and back, gliding them down and forward. Taking them up and back, down and forward. Good. One more times like that, just with the shoulder motion. Again, it can be very small or very large, whatever feels available for your shoulder joints. And then reverse it, take the shoulders back and up, and forward and down, back and up, forward and down. One more time, back and up, and forward and down. Good. Letting the elbows now fan out to the sides. We're going to create some bigger circles here, really starting to open up through the chest and the upper back. So you have your arms kind of in this cactus shape, but you've sort of dropped your branches. And then you're going to lead with your elbows, lifting the elbows up and back, scoop them back. See if you can even squeeze them closer together. Then swing them forward and up. Take them back and down, back as close as you can, and then forward and up. Really big motions here. I like to imagine I had big eagle wings, and it's like you're flapping your wings, really big motions. Let's circle the other way. The elbows are going to go back now and up, and then scoop them forward and down. So keeping that bend in the elbows as you take them back and up, forward and down. One more time like this, back and up. And as you come forward with the hands, let the hands land onto your knees. Good. Beginning to slide your chest now from side to side. A little motion going in the spine. So be aware of the spine. If you have injuries or concerns along the spine, your motions might be a little bit smaller, or they might actually stay still and you grow a length to the spine. But if it's feeling good for you to slide back and forth, try circling the spine here, creating a motion, a circular motion for the rib cage. This is where I like to imagine the rib cage is like a big hula hoop, and I'm trying to hula hoop the rib cage around the spine. Good, let's hula hoop the other way. Take that rib cage around in the opposite direction. Good. Maintain a depth of breath here. Bringing this chest back to center, lifting up tall, letting the arms now hang at your sides. And give the arms a little wobbly shake. Shake out any tension from the shoulders and the arms. And then start to lift your right leg up. Just lift it up as high as you can. Be mindful of what happens in your upper body. Be aware if you start to lean back. Keep yourself upright as you start to lift your right leg. And remember, your right leg does not need to come very far off the ground. It can just hover. That's okay too. Any sort of lift will be beneficial here. If it's available, you can take your hands underneath your right thigh. And then on an inhale breath, start to extend the right leg out and point the toes away from you. As you exhale, flex the foot back and bend the knee. Inhale, straighten the leg out, point the toes. Exhale, flex the foot and bend the knee. One more time, inhale, straighten the leg out. Exhale, flex the foot back, bend the knee. Good. Again, we're going to keep the knee bent, but this time letting the leg hover again, releasing the hands. Good. Sit up nice and tall here, then you can release the right foot gently onto the floor. As the right foot comes down, really press now into the right foot. You'll wake up some strength in that right leg, and then lift your left leg up. Good. Again, remember, you don't have to lift the leg very high, just starting to wake up some of these muscles in the hip. If it's available, your hand might interlace underneath your left leg. And then on an inhale breath, start to straighten your left leg out, pointing the toes. As you exhale, flex the foot and bend the knee. Inhale, straighten the leg and point the toes. Exhale, flex the foot and bend the knee. One more time, let's inhale, straighten the leg and point the toes. Exhale, flex the foot and bend the knee. Good. Keeping the knee bent now, release the hands again, letting the leg hover, sitting up nice and tall. And then slowly placing the foot onto the floor. All right, we're going to play around a little bit here. So let's lift the right foot up. Again, you can lift it as high as is available to you, but at the same time, sit taller through the spine. You might lean back here a little bit and see if you can float your left foot off the floor. Engage the belly strength. Maybe you would keep one foot on the floor and you switch from side to side. Maybe you keep both feet lifted. Maybe you lift both arms up. Good. Keep your breath moving. Hovering one foot or both feet, engaging a little bit of that belly strength. You're going to feel your breath more in your upper body here as we take 2 more breaths. Really good. 1 more breath. Then slowly place your feet onto the floor and allow your upper body to fold down over the legs. If there's concern for your blood pressure, let your elbows rest on your thighs. Keep your head above your heart. If there's no concern for blood pressure here, you can let yourself hang all the way over the legs, letting the head fold forward. Good. Your hands now can come to rest onto your feet or shins and glide the hands up the legs, past the belly, past the chest towards the sky. Big inhale, look up. Exhale, fold forward. Hands to the feet or shins. Inhale, rolling up, gliding the hands up the body, reaching up. Exhale, folding forward. One more time. Inhale, rolling up, sweeping up, looking up, and then exhale, let it go. Really good. Let's inhale now, roll all the way up, reaching the arms overhead. Now, if reaching the arms overhead is too much for the shoulders today, it feels uncomfortable or you have injury there, maybe you take your fingertips to your shoulders or reach the arms straight forward. Take them anywhere it feels available. The next motion is really coming from the spine, not so much the arms. So we're going to sit up tall, make some space, and slowly curve your spine over towards your right. So you feel from your hips to the crown of your head, this sort of C shape happening in your spine over towards the right. And come back into center and let's curve over towards the left. Let's come back into center. This time you're going to take your left hand down across to your right thigh, your right hand around behind you, and come into your twist here. Breathing here. We have just a couple more students joining class, so I'm going to admit them here. Good. Now inhale and take both arms back up as you unwind. Exhale, now take the right hand across to the left leg, the left hand around behind you, and gently looking off to your left. Breathing here in your twist. Good. Inhale, now take both arms up, sweep them up, Again, you can extend the arms overhead, or maybe for you, it's more appropriate to have them straight forward, wherever it feels best for your shoulders. Start to press down into both feet. Really wake up the strength in the legs. Lift up through the heart. You can pause here and hold here, especially if you have any concern for your knees or low back. You're going to maintain this position staying seated on the chair. Now, if your low back and knees are feeling okay, there's no injury that needs a little added care today, you're going to press into both feet. Lift from the crown of your head as you hover your hips away from the chair. Good. Keep the arms extended, keep the gaze forward. Again, you're welcome to stay seated in the chair, or you might be hovering your hips up. If your hips are lifted, slowly sit your hips back and down into the chair. Keep those arms up. Keep the gaze up. Press into the feet. Once again, let's lift the hips, just hover them away from the chair. Pressing down into both feet strongly. We got one more. We're gonna sit back into that chair one more time. Good, we're really waking you up on a Monday. Press into those feet. Lift the hips, hover them from the chair. Arms forward, gaze forward. Good, then from here, we can all come all the way up to stand. Press into those feet, reach up through the arms, look up, then exhale, let the arms go. Inhale, arms up, sweep them up. Big exhale, let them go. Good, inhale, arms up, sweep up. Exhale, let it go. 2 more like this, inhale. Last one. Good, let the arms shake out. Make sure you've got some space around you. I know some of you are practicing at home with family, so make sure you're spread out. If you're close to a wall, you'll want to step a little bit away from the wall. Planting your feet. Start to swing the arms from side to side. So we're going to just let the arms kind of flop here from side to side. And depending on what's happening in your knees, you might keep your feet planted. That puts a fair bit more pressure in the knees. So if you have any concerns for the knees, let one foot pivot off as you twist from one side to the other. And the arms here are just flopping around from side to side. You can even make fists with your hands, so as the arms wrap around, they give a little tap to the body. And we'll start to let the arms now travel up. So we're wrapping them around, moving our way up, tapping around the hip and around the waist, and around the front and the back of the chest, and around the front and the back of the shoulders. And as your arms come around shoulder level, you can start to tap in the center of your chest with one hand, letting the other hand fan out behind you as you twist. We're going to add in some strong breathing here. So as you twist, make some strong exhales. Keep going like that. Now, of course, if you start to feel lightheaded at all, dizzy or unstable, please pause this motion. Maybe even take a seat in your chair. Keep going. A few more breaths like this. Getting that blood circulating, getting that oxygen going, stimulating the gland underneath our sternum. Good. 3 more each side. The last one on each side. Then let the arms again start to flop around the body. So instead of extending them, let them wrap around the body, making their way down, tapping as they go, coming to tap around the hips. Then release the fists. Plant the heels, slow the motion down. Letting it very gently come to a still place where you settle into a Tadasana. You might walk your feet in a little bit closer, bring them underneath the hips, palms forward, shoulders back. If you feel steady here, close your eyes. If you're feeling any lightheadedness or dizziness, have a seat for a moment. Let your natural breath come back in. Opening the eyes now. You're going to take your chair off to the right hand side of your body, turning the chair so the seat is facing away from you. So the chair is on the right hand side, and your right hand can rest on the back of the chair. So we're going to work on a little bit of a movement in our balance today. I find this very helpful for strengthening our core and helping our stability as we walk and move around in our day. So you're going to start with your right hand on the chair. We're going to make the right foot, the right leg, the standing leg. So go ahead and lift your right toes up, press down into your right foot, stand as tall and as upright as you can, and then maybe start to lift your left heel, maybe your left toes, maybe your left knee up. Now, of course, if you're staying in the chair today, that's absolutely okay. Keep your right knee bent, press it on the floor, and lift the left leg up to hover. Good. For those of you who are standing, you might take your left arm up. From here, let's extend the left leg out. Good. And now start, if you're standing, start to bend your right knee and reach that left foot forward. Step it forward as far as you can. Really nice. Press into that left foot and start to bend the left knee. You might sink your right heel down. It might come onto the ground, it might not, that's okay. If you need to walk your right foot in a little bit, you're welcome to do that. From here, you might release your right hand from the chair and bring it up as well. Your arms might be forward on the hips, or maybe you keep your arms down with one hand on the chair. We're in our Virabhadrasana 1, our Warrior 1 here. We'll take one more breath. And then the fun part is coming out. We're going to come out the same way we came in. So make sure that right foot now can be planted on the ground. If you need to walk it in to do that, walk it in, plant the right heel down. You're going to press off your left foot and step that left foot back to meet your right foot. Then release your left arm down. Take a moment and pause. Notice your breathing. If you're feeling short of breath, you may have been holding your breath a little bit there. So make sure your breath is always moving. So for me, it will work to simply turn myself around. I can keep my chair where it is. If it's better for you to lift your chair up and put it to the other side, you can do that. You want to make sure your chair is now on the left-hand side of your body. Good. Once again, we begin in Tadasana, the feet parallel, the left hand on the chair. Making the left leg, the standing leg, really start to press down into the foot, spreading the foot wide onto the ground. Then you'll start to lift your right heel, maybe your right toes, maybe your right knee. Okay, wherever you are here, whether you're standing or seated, whether both feet are on the floor or if you have one foot lifted, you're feeling yourself breathe. Yeah. Maybe your right arm comes up. From here, let's extend the right leg out. Lift a little bit taller. If you're standing, you're going to bend that left knee and now reach that right foot forward. Step as far forward as you can. Good job. Letting the left heel sink down as you bend into your right knee. Be mindful of the knees here. If they don't want to bend too far, don't make them. Let them bend where they feel okay. Really important though, you're using the strength of your leg. Press down into your feet. Lift your gaze up. Some of you might stay here. Some of you might take your left arm to meet your right arm. Some of you might keep your arms at your sides. Wherever you are, you're breathing. Good. Remember, we're going to come out the same way we came in. So from here, you're going to press from the right foot. And maybe this takes a few steps. That's okay. But you're going to press off that right foot and step back towards your left foot. Good job. Once you're back there, your hands can come on your sides, palms forward. Again, if you feel any lightheadedness or dizziness, take a moment to sit and let that pass. Otherwise, as you stand in your Tadasana, feel your breath move. Once again, imagining the breath coming in from the feet and going all the way up to the head and letting that same breath travel back down and out the feet. Good job. All right, taking your chair now out in front of you. Turning it so the seat of the chair is facing you. Reminder, you're welcome to stay seated in your chair if you prefer to practice from there. Wherever you are, you're taking a Tadasana again, feet parallel, palms forward. If you're standing, the chair is just a couple inches in front of you. From here, let's all take the arms forward and up, bending those knees, sitting back as you exhale. Take another inhale, open the chest, lift the gaze, then exhale, release your hands to the chair. Good, folding forward. So if you're seated, you're folding forward. Straighten your arms, straighten your legs, look forward. Good, as you exhale, bend your elbows, fold down. Inhale, straighten the arms, look forward. Exhale, bend those elbows and gently fold down. Inhale now, straighten both arms, look forward. Good, keep the chest lifted, the gaze lifted, and we're gonna hover the right foot back, taking it as far back as you comfortably can, planting that right heel on the ground. As your right foot goes back, make sure it does not go behind your left foot. Then bend into both knees a little bit and start to turn your tailbone out from underneath you. So your tailbone's lifting up from behind. Good. That might be plenty. You might feel that stretch coming into your calves and hamstrings. That's great. That's all we're looking for. So you could stay here. If you're in the chair, you have your left leg extended forward. Heart lifted, arms may be lifted. If you're standing, you might start to straighten both legs a little bit. Keep the chest forward, gaze forward, that tailbone lifting up behind. Holding onto the chair now, stepping that left foot back to meet the right foot. We'll come into downward facing dog, sinking the heels to the ground. Those in the chair can stay seated in the chair. Interlace your hands, press your palms forward and up. Those standing in their downward facing dog can hold the chair, lift your heels and glide forward to plank pose. Gaze forward. Some of you might bend your elbows a couple inches, bring the chest forward into an upward facing dog. Or you might stay in your plank. Good, one more breath, you've got this. Then lift your hips up and back as you exhale. Sink those heels, return to your downward facing dog. We're gonna take the right foot now and step it up towards the chair. Right foot coming as far forward towards the chair as you can bring it, while still keeping your left heel on the ground. For those sitting in the chair, it's your right leg now that's lifted and extended. Good. From here, if you're standing, bend both knees a little bit and start again to lift your tailbone up behind you. This often will bring the stretch into the back of the legs. So if you're feeling a stretch, stay like this and breathe. If you're standing and you have your tailbone lifting and you're not feeling much of a stretch, the joints feel okay, the muscles feel okay, you might start to straighten the legs a little bit. Good, breathing here. Soften the jaw, soften the face, take one more breath like this. Then from here, the back foot's gonna step up to the top, to the chair. Take an inhale breath, lift forward. Exhale, let's all fold forward. Then inhale, if you're standing, hands on the back of the chair. Lifting up halfway, letting your blood pressure balance out before making your way all the way up to standing. Returning to your Tadasana, palms forward, shoulders back. If you can close your eyes and feel steady, try closing your eyes. If you do that and you feel quite wobbly, let your eyes remain open. Find the natural rhythm of your breath again. Notice the sensations percolating up in the body. Then from here, those of you who would like to come to the floor where it feels able today to come to the ground, you're welcome to use your chair. Bring yourself down onto the ground and then bring your legs up onto the chair. Make sure you're positioned in a way where you can still see and hear me. You'll come to lay down onto the ground with your legs up on the chair. Now, if you would prefer not to lay down on the ground, that's okay. You can stay seated in your chair. Coming to sit all the way back in the chair if you're seated. Maybe use some blocks under your feet. For those of you who are lying on the ground, take your time. Bring yourself down. Rest your legs up on your chair. Then let's all place our hands on our bellies. Settle the shoulders and elbows. Close the eyes if that's comfortable. Or at least soften the gaze a little bit. So you're taking in a little less information through the eyes. Soften what can be softened here. Notice your breathing. Once again, coming to that simple awareness of breath, trying not to alter or change your breath, but watching how you breathe. How is the air moving in and out? For our practice today, we're going to practice a bit of what is called typically square breathing. For our practice, we create more of a rectangular breath. So in this breath practice, we'll begin by breathing in for a set count, and today we'll start with 4. You'll breathe in for a 4 count, and then just pause for a moment at the top of that inhale. And then you'll breathe out for a 4 count, pausing empty at the bottom of the exhale. We'll increase the count as we go, but be aware of your breathing. If you start to feel tension in the breath or a shortness of breath, lower the count or release the count altogether. So this practice of breathing is not to create tension in the body. We want to maintain an ease even as we increase the count. So you'll find your threshold for yourself. I'll keep count and guide with your own breath. If you're starting to feel short of breath, don't hold to the count. But let's start together by just taking as full a breath in as you naturally can. And then take as complete a breath out. Empty out completely, all the way out. So we're breathing in through the nose now for a count of 4, starting with 1, breathing in for 2, 3, filling up with 4, pausing full. Exhaling now for 4, 3, 2, emptying out at 1, pausing empty. Inhaling for 1, 2, 3, filling up at 4, pausing full. Exhaling for 4, 3, 2, 1, pausing empty. One more, let's inhale 1, 2, 3, filling up at 4, pausing full. Exhale for 4, 3, 2, 1, empty out, pause empty. Let's go to a 6 count now. Inhaling for 1, 2, 3, keep inhaling through 4 and 5, right up to 6, get full, hold full. Then exhaling 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, empty out at 1, pause, empty. Inhale again for 1, 2, 3, 4, keep inhaling 5, right up to 6, pausing full. Exhaling 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, empty out, pause, empty. One more round at 6, inhale 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, pause. Exhaling 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Empty out, pause, empty. We'll do one round at 8 now. Inhaling 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Keep inhaling 6 through 7, filling up right at 8, pausing full at 8, pausing full here at 8. Then exhaling 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Empty out, pausing empty here, holding that breath out gently. And now release the hold, let a natural breath come back in. Feel that natural breath return. If you're lying on the ground, bring both knees now into your belly. Give the legs a little hug in. If you're seated in the chair, you can fold forward, wrap your arms around your legs, hugging the belly to the thighs. Being mindful of that blood pressure, keeping the head above the heart if needed. If you're lying on the floor, go ahead now and extend your legs up towards the ceiling. And then extend your arms up towards the ceiling and start to shake your arms and legs out. Bring a little vibration into the limbs of your body. If you're in the chair, slowly roll up, adding the arms out in front or overhead, and start to shake the arms. You might start to shake one leg at a time. Really start to flick those feet around and flick the hands around. Feel that shake all the way down into the torso as best you can. Good, we're helping to empty out that lymphatic system, get it flowing back into the organs where we can process everything out of the body that needs to be let go of. Good. From here, if you're lying on the ground, bring your knees back into your belly and roll over to your side. If you're seated in the chair, let your feet and hands come down, sitting forward in your chair. If you're lying on your side on the floor, you're going to press yourself away from the chair so that you can lay down on the ground. So you want to be able to lay all the way out on the ground without any sort of hindrance. So if there's a chair or something in your way, just adjust yourself so you've got full space to lay straight out. If you're sitting in the chair, you're going to take your whole body and turn it over towards the right-hand side of the chair. I like to bring my blocks around with me. So if you're using blocks, bring them with you. Those of you, this is for those of you in the chair, you're facing the right-hand side of your chair. Then both your hands will come around to the back of the chair and you'll look out over the back of the chair. If you're lying on the ground, take your knees into your belly, give them a little hug, then place your feet on the floor and shift your hips to the right-hand side of your mat. You're welcome to bring your knees now back in your belly and take your legs over to the left, or simply keep your feet on the floor and let your knees fall to the left. That's a little bit of a gentler twist. Looking over your right shoulder, if it feels okay for your neck, let's take a couple of breaths here. Those of you sitting in the chair, slowly walk yourself around now. So unwinding and walking yourself around to the left-hand side of your chair. Bringing your hands around the back of the chair once again into your twist here. Those of you lying on the floor, gently let your feet stay resting on the ground. Fan your knees back up through space. Once your hips are on the ground, you're going to lift your hips up a little bit, glide them over to your left, place them down. Once again, your knees will fall to the right. So it's up to you whether you'd like to lift your feet, to twist the knees to the right, or keep your feet on the ground. Be mindful of that low back. Be aware of what's feeling appropriate for you today. Remembering that you want to come back to practice again another day. So practicing in a way that feels supportive for you. Wherever you are here, it's perfect. Stay where you are. Breathe deeply, just where you are. And if you're in the chair, gently unwind yourself, walking around to the front of the chair. Now settling yourself all the way back towards the back of the chair. If you are lying on the ground, again, slowly with an inhale breath, let your knees fan back up, feeling your hips come onto the ground. Adjust your hips here so that they feel in line with your shoulders. So your spine is straight between your shoulders and your hips. Your head is resting on the floor if you're lying on the ground. And then you're welcome to either extend your legs straight out here onto the floor, or you could put a pillow underneath your knees if you have it, or you can keep your knees bent, take your feet wide and let your knees fall together. For those in the chair, simply slide yourself as far back into your chair as you can so that your spine can rest against the back of the chair. Palms facing up in the lap if you're seated, or arms resting at your sides, palms up on the floor. If you wear glasses, this is a nice time to remove the glasses, give your face a bit of a rest. And if it's comfortable for you now, let the eyes close. Feel your eyelids drape heavy over the eyes. Truly release all the effort and doing that you have put into your practice. Know that you've done good work, and now is your time to rest. As important as it is for us to do, experience, be active, it is equally as important to rest so that the body and mind can integrate all that activity, all the benefits of practice. This is your time to rest. Be still here, be quiet, and watch. Watch what is happening within yourself. I'll bring us back in a few moments to close the practice. Keeping your body still. Start to feel once again the natural movement of air that travels in and out of your body. Remaining at ease here to allow the breath to flow as it wishes, in and around, through your whole body. Now add into those sensations a little bit of movement. Maybe you wiggle a finger or two, maybe you wiggle a toe. Maybe you start to wiggle your tongue around in your mouth. You start to feel a little bit of motion and movement again in your body. If you're lying on the floor, you might start to point and flex your feet, flop the legs in and out a few times. If you're sitting in the chair, you might roll your wrists, wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes. And let's all extend the arms, maybe straight forward, maybe all the way up overhead, and feel a whole stretch through the body as best you can. For those of you who are lying on the ground, you can bend your knees now and roll on over to your side. We'll make our way to sit either up on the ground or in the chair. If you're seated in the chair, your hands can rest back onto your thighs and you can scoot yourself forward a little bit in your chair, freeing the spine. Take your time to come to your seat. Do so in a way that maintains a little bit of peace and quiet for yourself. So that as you come into your seat, you land right away back into that same peaceful state that you were in just a moment ago. You're still in a savasana state, in a slightly different position. Knowing that you can maintain that peace and calm even as you move from one place to the next, or one position to the next. Let's bring hands together in front of the heart. And to close our practice today, we're going to chant one Om, one big beautiful Om all together. Taking an inhale breath through the nose, and a big sigh out the mouth. And inhaling here all together. Thank you all so much for joining in practice again today. Namaste.